Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening for our virtual town hall. My name is Ben Owen. I'm the Commuter Choice Program Manager for the Northern Virginia Transportation Commission, and I'll be leading this evening's meeting. Tonight, we'll be talking about projects proposed for funding under the Commuter Choice Program on the corridor for funding in fiscal years 2022 and 2023. I'll talk a bit about what commuter choice is, then provide a quick overview of each of the 13 projects proposed for funding. We'll then let you know how you can leave feedback on the proposed projects. We will share this feedback with the commissions and the Commonwealth Transportation Board before they take action to approve projects for funding. And finally, we'll open things up for any questions you have about the program or projects. We will have plenty of time, so do not hold back. Please use the chat box on YouTube to enter your question or comment. We do have project staff online from Dash, Fairfax County, Fred Transit, Omni Ride, Prince William County, Spotsylvania County, and Stafford County with us this evening who can help answer any questions you might have about specific projects. So first, what is commuter choice? In short, commuter choice reinvests a portion of toll revenues collected from the 95 and 395 express lanes and from I-66 inside the Beltway into transportation improvements. The program supports a broad range of transportation projects, including new and expanded transit services, transportation capital improvements, and carpool and vanpool strategies that contribute to moving more people through the corridors and fostering improvements that will improve travel and expand options for commuters. Projects that support these goals help demonstrate their ability to benefit the people paying the tolls, which is a requirement of Virginia legal precedent and statute. In each corridor, we normally have about $15 million per year to reinvest, so we're a small piece of the overall regional transportation funding picture, but one that's focused on improving the transportation network and commuting in these two corridors. For the I-395-95 corridor program, the funding comes from annual transit payments to the Commonwealth of Virginia from Transurban, the concessionaire for the 95 and 395 express lanes. They've been a great partner in this program, and we expect full funding of about $30 million for new projects in the fiscal year 22 to 23 period. While Transurban indicates that express lanes traffic has been down, the length and 24/7 tolling of the express lanes facility has provided for more resilient revenues than with some other toll facilities in the region during the COVID-19 public health emergency. So commuter choice on the I-395-95 corridor is a program that was created by the Commonwealth of Virginia, delegated to us at NVTC and our neighbor commission to the south, the Potomac and Rappahannock Transportation Commission, or PRTC, to manage. We at NVTC lead the management of the program to allow PRTC latitude to be an applicant for and recipient of funds. Local jurisdictions and public transit operators apply for and carry out the projects. The projects we'll be reviewing tonight were all submitted in response to a call for projects that was open this past November through January. We've now completed our evaluation of the projects, and you'll see their scores as we go through the proposals. Soon after the public comment period ends in mid-May, the two commissions will consider the scoring results, public comment and funding availability, and adopt a program of projects for referral to the Commonwealth Transportation Board, which has final approval authority over the program. Once the CTB approves a program of projects, recipients will be able to begin implementing their projects. We do have ongoing reporting requirements for recipients regarding the performance of their projects relative to anticipated levels, as well as their progress toward fully implementing their projects. In terms of eligible applicants for the I-395-95 corridor program, NVTC and PRTC member jurisdictions and public transit providers are eligible applicants for and recipients of the funds. So we'll start to move from talking about the program overall into proposals. And here is a handy schematic of the 13 proposals under consideration for funding. Most of these are new or enhanced bus services. Many of these projects include associated capital improvements like bus purchases and bus stop improvements. And overall, the proposals do a good job of covering the corridor from Spotsylvania County up to the DC line. The proposals generally fall into one of three categories. The first is enhancements to local bus routes in the northern part of the corridor to provide frequent service every 15 minutes or better, at least on weekdays, thereby improving connections with metro, jobs, and services for commuters throughout the day. These routes have seen only modest ridership drop-offs during the COVID-19 public health emergency, and we can support all-day service improvements in this corridor since tolls are collected in the express lanes at all times. The second category is a range of efforts to rebuild ridership post-pandemic and prepare for expected future travel patterns. Projects in this general category include park and ride lot expansions, incentives for van pooling, and new commuter rail feeder bus service. And the third category is continuations of new and enhanced bus services previously funded by the program to provide predictability and continuity for commuters as they return to work sites. We do support 2 years of operations at a time under commuter choice. So the 13 proposals all scored reasonably well. I'll explain more in a moment what goes into the scoring. And with a total funding request of about $22 million, they can fit within the $30 million expected to be available. Staff's recommendation to the commissions will be to fund all 13 proposals, subject to the public comment that we receive. This approach has been endorsed by a subcommittee of the two commissions. Any remaining funds that we don't program will be applied to the I-395-95 corridor program's next funding round, which will cover fiscal years 2024 and 2025. Before I get into explaining a bit about each proposal, I'd like to give a quick overview of our scoring process. It's a 100-point scale, and most of the possible points, 70 of 100, fall under the technical merit measure, which consists of factors related to how well the proposed project supports corridor improvement goals of moving more people and creating viable, effective transportation options, the latter including such considerations as travel time savings for typical trips using the project, relative to driving alone and not paying a toll, as well as connections between modes of transportation and activity centers across the region. Our annualized cost effectiveness criterion is looking at basically the technical merit score relative to the amount of funding requested, taking also the useful life of the project into account. So capital projects, projects with longer lived assets fare a bit better under this criterion. Applicant preference allows each applicant to pick their top priority out of their applications and receive 10 points for it. And finally, interagency collaboration concerns applications that can document support or collaboration from other jurisdictions or agencies in the region can receive 5 points. Some parts of our evaluation process are effectively graded on a curve, which helps to explain some of the variation in the scoring between projects. One factor that generally lowered scores this time around is that we didn't have a good and universal means of quantifying proposals' estimated travel time benefits, since travel pattern changes have taken place pretty significantly across the region as a result of the COVID-19 public health emergency. However, we do expect projects that we're supporting to offer time savings for commuters as traffic volumes continue to pick back up. So I'll now briefly go through each proposal in descending order of total score. As we go through them, you're welcome to use the chat box on YouTube to enter any questions you have. We will respond to all questions at the end. So the first proposal, what you see here, would continue 2 morning northbound and 2 afternoon southbound trips on Omni Rides Dale City to Ballston commuter bus route. This is a route that connects Prince William County commuters with the Pentagon and the Roslyn-Ballston corridor in Arlington. It uses the express lanes for travel between Horner Road and the Pentagon, providing a fast and reliable trip. Funds would be supporting an additional 2 years of operations of these added trips. Prior to COVID-19, the 4 trips had just over 100 daily riders on average. Omni Ride is beginning to see ridership rebounds on its commuter services and expects this trend to continue as congestion on I-95 and 395 also increases. The second proposal would complete funding for a new nearly 700-space park and ride lot that will soon begin construction in the Massaponax area in Spotsylvania County. The overall cost of this project is approximately $17 million. The lot is a short distance south of Fredericksburg in a rapidly growing area. It's expected to be completed in 2023, which is soon after the 95 express lanes are going to be extended into the Fredericksburg area and a new Rappahannock River crossing is completed. Initially, this park and ride lot would be used by carpools and vanpools, with expectations for commuter bus service to be added in the future. Another proposed bus service continuation involves Fairfax Connectors express bus service between the Back Lake North Park and Ride lot in Springfield and the Pentagon. This is a nonstop service using the express lanes and offering 12 morning northbound and 14 afternoon southbound trips with one-way travel times as quick as 25 minutes. Funds would provide for a further 2 years of operations here as well. Prior to COVID, this was a popular service carrying about 300 passengers daily. Next, we have a proposal for 2 additional years of operating support for Omni Rides Stafford County to Pentagon commuter bus route. This service began in late 2019 with commuter choice funding as one of Omni Rides' first 2 Stafford County commuter bus services. The route currently provides 4 morning northbound trips and 4 afternoon southbound trips. Due to shorter travel times, Omni Ride expects to be able to accommodate an additional daily round trip within the same overall amount of service hours. Ridership on this route was off to a strong start prior to COVID with about 200 weekday trips on average. As of this March, the daily ridership is about 120, which is pretty resilient relative to most express bus services in the region. Following that is a proposed renewal of Omni Ride's other Stafford County commuter service, this one going up to downtown DC. This proposal would also provide for 2 additional years of operating support. This route also provides 4 morning northbound trips and 4 afternoon southbound trips. Average daily ridership on the route was about 250 prior to COVID. Ridership is beginning to rebound strongly on this route as commuters begin to return to downtown DC work sites. Next is a proposal from Dash in Alexandria for enhanced service on a bus route between the Van Dorn Metro and the Pentagon. Dash is about to restructure their entire bus network this September. This proposal would support more frequent service on their West End local bus route and extend all trips on the route to the Pentagon via I-395. With 10 to 15-minute service each day of the week, the route would provide an attractive all-day service for both peak and off-peak commuters. And again, we can support these all-day, everyday service improvements since tolling is in effect at all times in the 95 and 395 express lanes. Commuter Choice funded a previous increment of additional service on this route in our Round 1 program, which improved service each day of the week. Overall weekly ridership had grown by 40% a few months into the expanded service. Despite the pandemic, March ridership this year was actually higher than before the expansion took effect. The City of Alexandria plans to develop this corridor into a bus rapid transit route, and the proposal represents a further step in building the market for that much more significant investment. Along with the service improvements, Dash would improve several bus stops along the route and install real-time arrival information signs at 6 stops. The next proposal would continue expanded rush hour bus service on Omni Ride's Route 1 local route for a further 2 years. The expanded service consists of an extra bus making additional trips during both morning and afternoon rush hours. The route serves numerous residential and retail concentrations along Prince William County's main north-south spine, catering to many essential trips. This route connects with other Omni Ride bus routes. It also connects with VRE at Woodbridge at the northern end of the route. The next proposal would continue expanded rush hour service on Omni Ride's Prince William Metro Express, which is one of Omni Ride's most popular routes. The expanded service consists of an extra bus operating during both morning and afternoon rush hours, allowing for service every 20 to 30 minutes. This route connects the Franconia-Springfield Metro with residential and commercial concentrations in the Potomac Mills area. Next is a proposed new feeder bus service between the Route 208 Park and Ride lot in northeastern Spotsylvania County and the downtown Fredericksburg, Virginia Railway Express station. Fred Transit would operate this service, which would connect with almost all VRE trains. Prior to COVID-19, the high demand for commuter parking at the downtown Fredericksburg station meant that many commuters had to park in remote lots with long walks to actually get to the platform. The service would start in late 2023, allowing the commuter market some time to rebound. Besides 2 years of operations, the project includes the purchase of buses for expanded service, as well as some access improvements at the Park and Ride lot. The next proposal would enhance Dash's local bus route between the west end of Alexandria and Potomac Yard with service every 15 minutes all days of the week, rather than every half hour. The route connects with I-395 express buses at the Mark Center and Shirlington. It will also connect with Metro at Potomac Yard next year when a new station will open there. Besides the expanded service, the proposal includes improvements to several bus stops along the route and the installation of 4 real-time information signs. Commuter Choice also funded a previous increment of additional service on this route in our Round 1 program, which added Sunday service and improved off-peak and Saturday service from every 60 minutes to every 30 minutes. Overall weekly ridership on the route grew by almost 80% a few months into the expanded service. The next proposal would establish monthly financial incentives for new and returning van pools traveling along the I-395 corridor. Returning here means van pools that reform after having disbanded at least 3 months prior, for instance, due to COVID-19 travel pattern changes. The incentives would provide a $400 general monthly subsidy per van. For van pools with monthly parking costs, up to a further $200 would be available to defray those costs. These subsidies overall would lower individual riders' out-of-pocket costs significantly. The region's van pool market has been adversely affected by travel pattern changes resulting from the COVID-19 public health emergency, but Omni Ride is just again beginning to form new van pools. Our penultimate proposal would expand bus service on Fairfax Connector Route 371, which links several residential and employment concentrations near I-95 with the Franconia-Springfield Metro. The proposal would provide for 15-minute service throughout the day on weekdays. Right now, most locations along the route have service about every half hour throughout the day. The improvement would make the route a more viable option for both peak and off-peak commuters. The proposal would also expand bike share to the Franconia-Springfield area with 4 stations to improve local access to and from Metro, VRE, and bus services. These stations would be placed in locations near residential and employment concentrations that could leverage the area's bicycling infrastructure. Our final proposal would expand the Horner Road commuter lot in Prince William County by 100 spaces through new construction and the redesign and reconfiguration of portions of the existing lot to use the space more efficiently and improve pedestrian access between parking areas and bus stops. The lot currently has over 2,300 spaces and prior to COVID-19 was routinely at capacity each weekday. The expansion, once complete in 2025, would boost ridership on existing Omni Ride commuter routes as well as carpools and van pools originating from the lot. So there was a synopsis of our 13 proposals under consideration for funding. And before we open for questions, we'd like to let you know how you can submit feedback to us on these proposals. Our public comment website, which will be open until May 17th, is novatransit.org/cc-comments. Our YouTube live chat moderator has added the link there for you, so you can go right to it. There you can find a copy of the project profiles with very similar information to this evening's presentation. You can also fill out our easy-to-use survey form there. Other options for submitting feedback, you can send an email to comment@commuterchoice.org with your comments, or leave a voicemail at 703-957-8274. And these methods are all shown on the comment website as well, if you follow the link to that. With that, we will open things up for questions. You can please enter your questions in the YouTube chat box. So I will mute myself for a moment, but first I will say thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to your questions. I see we do have all of 2 viewers online. If you are viewing us, please feel free to type in a question if you would like to. Okay, well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you to those of you who viewed us this evening for joining us and for your support of Commuter Choice as well as NVTC. As a reminder, we'll continue to collect feedback on the projects discussed tonight until May 17th. Please feel free to share information about the 13 projects and encourage neighbors and friends to weigh in before the May 17th deadline. Before we wrap up, I will just repeat the ways you can comment. So if you go to novatransit.org/cc comments, there you will see copies of the project profiles as well as access to a survey form with which you can provide feedback. That will also that page also has access to the email with which you can send comments to comment@commuterchoice.org. Also shows the phone number at which you can leave a voicemail, 703-957-8274. Again, comment is open through May 17th, so we very much look forward to your feedback. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope that everyone has a good night. Take care.